Chapter 1. The Winning Ticket. It's 10:58 p.m. on a Wednesday night. You're sitting alone in your apartment. For the third time today, you're checking your banking app. Your balance reads $217.43. That's all that's left until payday. Rent is due next week. Your car needs new tires. Your credit card debt keeps growing no matter how hard you try to pay it down. You're not poor enough to qualify for help, but you're not rich enough to relax. You're stuck in the uncomfortable middle, the place where every unexpected expense feels like a personal attack. In the corner of the room, the television flickers quietly. A news anchor is talking about last night's $200 million Powerball jackpot. The winner still hasn't come forward. You barely pay attention. You remember buying a ticket while filling up your gas tank. A random purchase, a passing thought. The ticket is somewhere, maybe. You start looking. 5 minutes later, you find it tucked inside an old receipt in your wallet. You laugh. Then you open the lottery website. The first number matches. Then the second. Then the third. You sit up straighter. The fourth matches. The fifth matches. Your heartbeat becomes deafening. Only one number remains. The Powerball. You stare at the screen. You stare at the ticket. You check it again, and again, and again. The final number matches. Silence. The room suddenly feels smaller. Your body feels lighter. For 10 full seconds, you don't move. Then reality hits. You have just won $200 million. Everything before this moment belongs to a different person. Chapter 2. Entering a new world. The next morning you tell nobody. Not your family, not your friends, not your coworkers. Nobody. You call the claims hotline from a quiet table in a coffee shop. The representative speaks calmly. You barely hear a word. All you can think about is the number. $200 million. The process begins. Lawyers, accountants, financial advisors, people who usually work with CEOs and billionaires. For the first time in your life, doors open automatically. Everyone answers your calls. Everyone has time for you. Everyone smiles. A few weeks later, the money arrives. You open your account. The screen displays more zeros than you've ever seen before. You stare at it for nearly an hour. Not excited, not emotional, just shocked. Then something unexpected appears. Relief. Pure relief. The fear you've carried for years disappears overnight. No more worrying about bills. No more checking prices at the grocery store. No more calculating whether you can afford dinner. No more wondering if a medical emergency could destroy your future. That fear is gone forever. You try to keep working, you really do. For 3 weeks, you show up every morning, you attend meetings, you answer emails, you pretend to care. Then one day, your manager lectures the team about productivity goals. You look around the room. Nobody wants to be there, not even him. The difference is, you no longer have to be. The following Monday, you resign. Your coworkers assume you found another job. You let them believe it. The truth feels impossible to explain. Chapter 3. Living Every Dream. A month later, you buy your first house. Not a mansion, not yet. A beautiful waterfront home with floor-to-ceiling windows. The kind of place you used to see only in movies. Every morning you wake up expecting it to disappear. It never does. The purchases begin slowly, a luxury SUV, a sports car, a custom watch, business class flights, 5-star hotels. You tell yourself you're being responsible. Then one day, you walk into a dealership. You buy a Lamborghini without asking the price. The salesman congratulates you. But something strange happens. The excitement lasts only a few hours. The next day, it feels normal. The same thing happens with the house. The watches, the vacations, the luxury. Every dream becomes reality, then routine, then invisible. You begin traveling the world: Tokyo, London, Dubai, Singapore, Monaco. You stay in hotel suites larger than your childhood home. You eat at restaurants with waiting lists measured in years. You sit beside celebrities, athletes, tech founders, people you once saw only on screens. And the strange part? Many of them seem just as unhappy as everyone else. Money solved their problems. It didn't solve them. Chapter 4: The Unexpected Emptiness. One afternoon, you're sitting on a yacht off the coast of Italy. The water is perfect. The weather is perfect. The view is perfect. You should be happy. Instead, you're staring into the ocean, wondering why you feel empty. That's when you understand something important. The chase is gone. For your entire life, every day had a mission: pay bills, earn more, survive. Now survival is guaranteed. You have complete freedom, and freedom is much heavier than people imagine. You no longer wake up because you have to. You wake up because you choose to. At first that sounds like paradise, then it starts to feel like a question. What now? What gives life meaning when every material desire has already been fulfilled? You spend months searching for an answer. And eventually you realize something. The answer isn't hidden in another car, another house, or another vacation. Chapter 5. The Real Jackpot. Years pass. You invest wisely. The fortune grows. 200 million becomes 250 million, then 300 million. The money now earns more money than you ever made working. You help your family. Mortgages disappear. Debts vanish. College funds appear. Medical treatments get paid immediately. Quietly, you begin changing lives. And those moments matter more than the cars, more than the vacations, more than the watches. Because for the first time, money becomes a tool instead of a goal. One evening, you're standing on the balcony of your estate. City lights glow in the distance. Your phone is silent. No bosses, no deadlines, no alarm clock, no financial stress, no obligations. The wind moves gently through the trees below. You think about the person you used to be, the exhausted version of yourself, sitting at a kitchen table, worried about rent, convinced that wealth would unlock permanent happiness. You smile. That person was wrong. Money didn't buy happiness. Money bought options. Money bought time. Money bought freedom. Money bought security. And sometimes, that's enough. You take a sip of expensive whiskey. You look out into the darkness. Your old life is gone, completely gone. Most people spend their entire lives trying to escape the system. You escaped through pure chance. The lottery didn't make you special. It didn't make you wiser. It didn't make you happier. But it gave you something almost nobody ever gets: the ability to wake up every morning and decide exactly how your day will unfold. And in the quiet stillness of that moment, you realize something. The real jackpot was never the money. It was ownership of your own life.